Welcome to Guruvira Textile and Fashion Technology Tutorial. Hi friends, I'm going to brief you on the basic information on weaving versus knitting. Now I'll come to this knitting. Say, can we use twos count? Can we use twos count, sixes count, tens count in knitting? Is it possible? What is knitting? Here, interlacement of warp. Here, the fabric you saw here. Okay, fabric you saw. These are the horizontal yarns. These are the horizontal threads in the fabric are called weft, and the longitudinal thread, that is lengthwise the yarns, are called warp. The lengthwise of the fabric, the yarns parallel to the lengthwise of the fabric, those are called the warps. The widthwise of the fabric are called weft. Okay, the density, other technical point I don't want to explain, that is EPI, PPI, that I don't. Just I'm going to give weaving and knitting, the basic elementary LKG, UKG subject. I'm not explaining here technology. I'm not explaining here textile technology. Just difference. Friends, if you want in Hindi, you can watch my Hindi. Yesterday I released the live class. Okay, this is the interlacement of warp and weft. Two yarns are required to make the fabric. This is, and number of width. This all this selvage is there. Here selvage. The selvage, between that selvage, whatever the yarns are, longitudinal yarns are accommodated. That is ends per inch or picks per inch. That is density will be there. Depend upon the end requirements. That is not required. Thousands of yarns are there. Warp yarns are there. Thousands of picks are there. How many? To make weaving, what is required? It is required to prepare the warp beam. Here warp beam is prepared. Here warp. How many yarns are there in the lengthwise of the fabric? Say 1500 warps yarns are there. So 1500 of yarns are wound on the warping beam. That is, warp beam is loaded behind the loom, back side of the loom. All 1500 yarns are taken through the heels, and that is not different technology. I don't want to explain the technology. This warp beam, in case of weaving, need to prepare. What is required? Preparatory process is required. That is, preparation of the warp beam is required, and size application is required. And the whatever the here weft is there, that is not enough single. It's a multi-box shuttle. If in olden days, in handloom, in power loom, one or two shuttle are moving up and here and there. But in airjet and other things, there multi-shuttle, other multicolor yarns. Even the multicolor, even the 10 color for yarn dyed fabric, even the 10 color weft, if you're using, that is also okay. That is not a big things. But here warp beam is prepared. Extra process is required in case of weaving. Now I'll come to the knitting. In knitting, is there requirement of preparation of the warp beam is there or not? Now, what is knitting? There are two types of knitting machines are there. One is flatbed knitting. Is there. In this, like woven fabric, the between the selvages, how many yarns are there? Here also, there is a widthwise open width knitted fabric will be there. Here along the along the width of the this flatbed machine, needles are operating. These are the needles. The yarn, the single yarn is subjected to stress and strain and subjected to folding in the form of loop in case of here knitting. The single yarn coming from the single yarn is coming here subjected to stress and strain, subjected to loop formation. Loops are formed. Interlooping takes place. What is take place? Interlooping. In this case, interlacement. The word used in this weaving is interlacement. I'll change the ink. Okay. Interlacement. Here, the interlacement is there. Interlacement of warp and weft. Here, interlooping of yarn. In case of flatbed, How many needles are there? The density of the needles. Each single needle moving up and down, moving up and down. Each needle is carrying the yarn thick and looping. It's going on. Okay, na? So it depends upon density. That is also technology is there. No need to explain that technology. Just basic explanation. Needles are moving up and down to make the loops, interloop, making the loops interloop. Okay, locking the loops. Loops are locked each other. Okay, this is flat bed. This is how much. What is the width of the fabric? Knitted fabric. What is there? That much of width of the fabric. Now, another type of machine is there. Circular knitting. That is circular knitting machines. Circular knitting. Okay, this circular knitting. This circular knitting. Here, it's like a disc. Depend upon this disc is called cylinder. This is a disc, cylinder like disc will be there. The diameter of this machine, the disc is there, needle bed diameter. This needle disc, this is called needle disc is there, no? All throughout all this disc is equipped with the number of needles. How many wales are there? In case of here, in this case of weaving, warp and weft, we are saying. In this case of, see, this is one loop is there. Okay. This is one loop. Yeah, this is the type of making the yarns. Okay, appearing what? Yes, it's appearing. Okay, these are the loop form is there. Okay, this single yarn is making this loop. This is widthwise. What the widthwise is one loop is making here. This is loop. Okay, this loop line is there. No number of loop lines. This is called course line. This is called course. This is called course. Right here. I write course. Okay, course line. And next how it is looping here. Again, next second row, it is coming here, like here. Okay, now like it will knitting is formed like this. Okay, it's required not a too much what's called it is not a big things. Here no need of making, here no need of preparation of the warp beams, because in case of single knit, single just knit or weft knit machines, the single yarn is operated by the thousands of needles. What is the open width? There are two widths are considered in knitting, knitted fabrics. One is open width, that is one width is there, and that is folded. That is folded means the circular half circular width, closed width. In closed width, the fabric is of two forms. Okay, now so in this each and single, the single yarn is coming like this. Single yarn is operated here. Single yarn is operated to make the looping here. Okay, hope you have understood. This is the same looping it takes place. These are the fabric is coming out, knitted fabrics. Okay, this is the structure is there. Okay, so what I'm going to say is that here interlacement and interlooping is there. Here preparation of the beam is required. Here preparation of the beam is not required. In case of yarns are there, number of yarns. Creel is required. Creel is required. It's sometimes pattern, sometimes not. If a single color fabric is required, then creels, number of creels are not required. If color yarns are used, different designs are used, different patterns are to make, then number of creels are required. Number of equipments are required, that is different. In case, okay, now if I forgotten to tell about the count, yarn count, this is important in this case. See, one more important in selection of the yarn for knitting is in case of knitting compared to weaving, loom weaving, the knitting is, the yarn is subjected to stress and strain. It requires more strength. The tensile strength of the yarn required in case of knitting is more tensile strength is required. First point. Second point, uniformity should be more, because in 1 inch of the bed there are 30, 40, even 18 courser for rib structures, for what is the cuff and collar there, that is different. If the inner wear, the outer wear, the knitted goods are there, now they are using for sports wear. Say 25 needles per inch, 30 needles per inch, fine knitted fabrics. For fine knitted fabrics, each and in 1 inch, 25 needles are operating, means 25 needles are catching the single yarn 25 times. In 1 inch of the knitted fabric, friends, please understand, in 1 inch of the knitted fabrics, if 25 needles are operating, those 25 needles are catching 25 times the yarn. Means here how many needles are there throughout the open width? Thousand needles will be there. All 1,000 needles are catching 1,000 times the same single yarn. Means how much the capacity to be incorporated in the yarn selected. That is called Hosari yarn. Hosari yarn should have more strength, should have uniformity, should have zero hairiness. Okay, should have more TPI, twist per inch or twist per meter. Right? Means what the process is required, the yarns used in knitting are called Hosari yarns. Combed yarns are used in this case. Combed yarns are used. Combed yarns are used in knitting. Combed yarns are used. Here what the loom that is called combed also used in weaving, and carded also used. Carded yarns also used, combed yarns also used. Then what is the difference between carded yarns or combed yarns? Okay, I'm also watching my live here side. Mobile is there. I'm also watching my live. Okay. Say what is the difference between combed yarn and carded yarns? Combed yarns, carded yarns means in spinning mill. Okay, the processes are there, prepared processes are there. That is start from mixing, blow room, carding, combing, drawing, simplex, ring frame, winding, packaging. Okay, but in the department after carding, the comber is there. If the carding, what the lap is converted into a sliver form, row form, that is, if that is taken directly for drawing and then directly taken for simplex, bypassing the combing department, then whatever the yarn produced in the ring frame, that is called carded yarn. That carded yarn might have short fibers, might have some other there is a variation, might have variation in the U percentage, might have variation in the coefficient of variations, might have variations in the other short fibers, staple variations will be there. But for yarns required for Hosari products should not be bypassed the combed. Extra process is required, that is combing operation is required. Combing operations, the carded yarns are still parallelized. Okay, all fibers are made them into parallel. In carding also, the objectives of carding also yarns are gets parallelized, dust and dirt removed, and lap is converted to sliver. But in comber, still the sliver is subjected for ribbon lap and sliver lap and combing. What will happen? All short fibers are there, no short fibers. All short fibers are removed in the form of noil, and dust and dirt still cleaned, and finally it keeps only the high staple fibers. Comber maintains in its output only the high staple, more staple, good staple fibers, so that whatever the combed sliver going to simplex and in the same spinning, because of the high staple maintained, even the finer yarns can be produced, and good tenacity or good strength to be inserted, strength can be given, and CV percentage to be good, U percentage to be good, hairiness can be avoided, so that the yarn operated by all thousands of needles it will withstand, the yarn will withstand the all needles operations. Okay, there is no breakages. The chances of breakages are very less. Breakdowns of the knitting machines are avoided. These are the technical basic things are there. Okay, now even for 80s while combed yarn is required, 60s while finer counts also in weaving, combed yarn is required. But here use of carded is rare. I think I use rare, but not required. It's a combed yarns or Hosari yarns are required in the knittings. Okay, friends. These are the basic differences are there, main. And technology, if we explain that so many technologies are there, that I no need to tell. Actually, I supposed to take today 5 o'clock, but it's unable to take. Okay, now this is the basic things are there. Basic elementary, the difference between the weaving and knittings. And one more I can use final, that the difference is the end products. The end products made from the knitted goods are mainly for inner wear, lingeries, and sports wear, t-shirts, tees, okay, and for summer collections, and also specially one more is there, collections means, and also lightweight knitted fabrics are used for summer collections, skin to touch fabrics, okay, and the fabrics used for hygienic purposes. These are the things are there. uh, and also nowadays this knitted fabrics are used for active wears for yogas, exercises, movements, gyms and other things they are wearing, no, okay, even though body is moving wherever, but it will not lose because of the knit elasticity incorporated, okay, so body they can do any movements in sports and athletes, active or yoga, whatever it is, okay. These are things are there. Friends, please subscribe to my channel Guruvira Textile and Fashion Technology Tutorials. Please share to your friends, like it. Please click the bell icon for notifications. Thank you very much.